Good morning, my people, my people, my people. My name is Chief Strongblood St. Vincent and the Grenadines' favorite and most hated son, the diaspora machismo. My people, today we are going to deal with the topic Sabbath keeping, the Sabbath commandments. My people, I am only doing this topic because someone spoke to me and said they did not buy in or they did not understand. Well, really, they said they did not buy into the way I am saying that the Sabbath should be kept, and they bring up the old arguments. So I think I owe it to that person to do this message once again, just to let that person get it clear. And this will be the last time I'm going to do this message on this series, on this live, unless I am doing it with a live audience. So my people, let us approach the throne of the Most High and thank Him for this opportunity where we can come and speak about Him. In Yahweh's name I say, let it be done. O great supreme and sovereign Most High Father, there is no God like you. Father, you are the omnipotent, the omniscient, the omnipresent. You're perfect in all of your ways, perfect in every aspect of your being. You're perfect in every aspect of your character, Father. You are the only one who deserves to carry the title of God. You are the only one who deserves to carry the title of Lord. You are the only one who deserves to carry the title of King. And there is no one who can compete with you for the title of Creator, Father. You are the only one who have created. Most High, direct my thoughts unto the thoughts of righteousness. Put only the things you've placed upon my lips, upon my heart, upon my lips. Most High, send the Holy Spirit to warn off all who will try to use demonic, human, and other forces to interfere with my thoughts, to interfere with my mind, to interfere with my memory. All who will try to use demonic, human, and other forces to put words in my mouth that are not in my vocabulary, and who will try to use demonic and other forces to cause me to stumble over words I am familiar with. Father, send the holy angels to protect me from the demonic, human, and other forces that will be used by the evil and wicked of this earth to try to hamper my speech and my message. Send the holy angels, and let the holy angels, Most High, set up a hedge of protection around me that will protect me from harm and danger, even the minor inconveniences that will come to lend distraction from what I am doing right here, Most High. I give you praise, I give you honor, I give you glory, and I thank you for this opportunity to call upon you and to call upon your name. In Yahweh's name I say, let it be done. My people, let us turn to Genesis chapter 2, and we are going to read verse 2 and 3. That is Genesis chapter 2, verse 2 and 3. And it says, and on the seventh day, God ended his work which he had made, and he rested on the seventh day from all his work which he had made. And God blessed the Sabbath day and sanctified it, because in it he rested from all of his work which he created and has made. My people, here we see the Most High, the creator of everything, who didn't have to do it, chose to lead earth inhabitants by example. He didn't have to do it, but he chose to lead earth's inhabitants by example. After he finished working, he blessed the seventh day. He hallowed the seventh day. He put it aside. And he himself, the God of the creation, the God who don't need rest, decided, I am going to set an example for my people by resting on the seventh day. My people, the first law that was instituted after the creation of the earth and everything therein was the law of Sabbath keeping. So my people, in the Garden of Eden, Adam and Eve only had two laws that they must adhere to. One was keeping the Sabbath, and two, to stay away from the tree that was planted in the midst of the garden. Only two laws. My people, one of the things that we have to realize here is when the Most High brought Israel out of Egypt, he did two things in that whole process. He identified himself as the supreme and all-powerful God. And he did this when he rained down the plagues upon Egypt and upon Pharaoh and upon all of the Egyptians. My people, there's the wise men, the soothsayers, and the sorcerers of Egypt, who were subjects of the devil, could not handle what the Most High was doing in Egypt. So he proved that he is God and he is the all-powerful God. My people, when Israel came out of Egypt, the first law that the Most High gave to Israel, even before he gave them the 10 Commandments, which is the constitution of Israel, he gave them the Sabbath commandment. Let us go to Exodus chapter 16, and we are going to read from verse 17. Well, let me let it go on right here. Israel came out of Egypt. They had no food, they had no water, and the Most High have intended to provide food and water for Israel on a regular basis. But what is more important than they getting food and water is their reliance on the God of creation who created the heaven and earth. So the way he was going to give them food every day was by raining down manna on the earth 6 days a week. And on the seventh day, which is the Sabbath, there was not supposed to be any manna, and no one was supposed to go out and look for manna. My people, so the Sabbath command was the first command that the Most High gave to Israel when he took them out of Egypt. And he was teaching them how to observe the Sabbath day in the manner in which he fed them. My people, there's some important thing you have to know about manna. The manna that the Most High fed the people of Israel with. So let us read from verse 16. The children of Israel did so, and some gather more and some gather less. Remember, every morning the Most High rained on manna. You are supposed to go out and accumulate an ephah of manna, a container full of manna. If you allow the sun to come up before you gather your manna, you would have to do it without food for the remainder of the day. Why? Because the sunlight melted the manna and it went back to nature. So, verse 17 is saying the children of Israel did so. Some gather more and some gather less. And when they mated it with an omer, and they that gather much had nothing over, and they that gather little had no lack. So what we are seeing here is that manna seems to be a special food, and it was a special food because it came from the hands of the Most High. Although the Most High tell them to gather a omer every day of manna, those people who gather less than an omer, no matter how little they gather, it was sufficient to keep them until the next day. And those people who gather over, they didn't have any remaining. Whatever they gather was sufficient. So here we see there will never be a reason for a man to go without food as long as he got up in time before the sunrise and gather his manna. My people, in verse 22 of Exodus chapter 16, this is what it says. And it came to pass that on the 6th day they gathered twice as much bread, 2 omer for one man. And all the rulers of the congregation came and told Moses. This is a very important point that we must consider. So now the Moses have given them the instruction on the 6th day, gather 2 omer of manna. You will use one on Friday and the other you will use on the Sabbath day. There is something interesting that happened in verse 22. And it is found at the last phrase in verse, and all the rulers of the congregation came and told Moses. What is happening here? The leaders were appointed over the congregation. So, Friday morning, all of the leaders assembled to Moses and informed Moses that we have supervised the member in our group, the members of our group, and the members of our group has followed the instructions as you have given, as the Most High have given to you. So here we see all the members of the group have gathered 2 omer of manna. My people, the week before, when Moses didn't understand what was happening with the manna, all of the Most High told him he didn't understand what is happening, because some of us, we will see it after we believe, after we will believe it after we have seen it. So the week before, manna fall twice as much. On Friday, they gathered the manna, 2 omer, and to their surprise, it didn't turn to worm and it didn't stink on the next day. So Moses told them to eat that. And this is the pattern we are going to follow from this day forward. My people, the rulers of the congregation came and told Moses, listen, we supervise our people. And all of our people have followed the instructions of the Most High that you have given us in the same manner that you requested. Every man have gathered 2 omer of manna for himself. My people, there is no reason for anyone to go outside. And I will show you, because you have to remember, we are not dealing with special people. We are dealing with average individual, reasonable individual, just like you and I, right? Individual with habits that must be broken. That is why the Most High kept them in the wilderness for 40 years. 27. And it came to pass that there went out some people on the 7th day for to gather, and they found none. And the Lord said to Moses, how long refuseth you to keep my command and my law, my commandment and my law? See, for the Lord hath given you the Sabbath. Therefore, he given you bread for 2 days. Abide every man in his place. Let no man go out of his place on the 7th day. So, the people rested on the 7th day. Okay. Why did they go outside to look for manna? Was it because they had a lack of manna? Remember, the rulers have already supervised their group. And remember, when you have an omer of manna, if you eat of that omer for an entire day, it will never end Because it says that they who get a little didn't have any lack, and they who got a much didn't have no excess. So these people who have gathered an omer of manna, 2 omers of manna, if they were eating 1 omer all day, that omer of manna would not have finished until the end of the day would have come to pass. So there was no reason for the Israelites to go outside to look for manna, because they would have enough food to last them for the duration of that day. So the question you must ask is, why did they go outside when they should not have gone outside? My people, we are all creatures of habits. Here we have, for over 300 plus years, the Israelites were living in Egypt. For about 200 plus years after Jacob died and all of the patriots died, the Israelites have stopped keeping the Sabbath of the Most High because they were enslaved. They had to work from Sunday to Sunday. It was not a custom of the Israelites to get a day off and to relax in their space all day long. It was not a custom. It was habitual. My people, in the same way, when a person have just converted to a Sabbath-keeping religion, because they are not accustomed doing the things that Sabbath-keeping requires them to do, they always go outside of the perimeter of the Sabbath until they get accustomed, until they break the habit. My people. So these people left their tents or their place, not because they had a lack of manna, because their rulers, their leaders have supervised them and saw that they collected the appropriate amount of manna. But they left their place because they were not accustomed being confined in one area for an entire day. And they get irritated and they came outside. The excuse, let us see if any manna fall. Not that they wanted manna, but let us see if any manna fall. So my people, to this, the Most High made it clear. Exodus chapter 16 verse 29. See, for the Lord have given you the Sabbath day. Therefore, he have given you bread for 2 days. Abide every man in his place. Listen to this. This is not conditional. This is not conditional. This is direct and must be taken literal. Let no man go out of his place on the 7th day. My people, this is the only part in script in the Bible where specific instructions is given as to what is expected of a person on the 7th day. Exodus chapter 20, the Sabbath command, verse 8. It tells you what the Sabbath is all about. It's a day of rest, and you must not work and so forth. But here we are becoming more specific. Let no man go out of his place on the Sabbath day. My people, in Jeremiah chapter 17 verse 22, the Most High called upon the Israelites to keep the Sabbath because they have strayed so far from the Sabbath that they were carrying burdens through the gates of Jerusalem on the Sabbath day. And when the Most High called them back, he gave them strong and solid reason why they must keep the Sabbath day. In Jeremiah chapter 17, verse 22, this is what he says. Neither carry forth any burden out of your house on the Sabbath day, neither do any work, but hallow the Sabbath day as I commanded your father. Hallowed the Sabbath day as I commanded your fathers. The only place in scriptures where the Most High give the Israelites special command on how to keep the Sabbath is in Exodus chapter 16, when he tell them, don't leave your place on the Sabbath day. But what is important here again, in Exodus chapter 16, when the Most High told them not to leave their place on the Sabbath day, at the end, so the people rested on the Sabbath day. So he tell them, don't leave your place on the Sabbath day. And they rested. That means they went into their place and they rest up on the Sabbath day. And this became the tradition of Israel, where the Israelites will stay in their place on the Sabbath day and rest up all day. Rest up all day. It doesn't mean that they sleep all day. It means that they rest. They sleep, they prayed, they think about the scriptures because there was no written document then. They think about what the Most High have done for them, how he delivered them out of Egypt. The plagues he rained on. They thought about how Moses hit the rock and water came. So they had umpteen things to think about. They didn't have a book. So all they were doing is reflecting on the goodness of God and speaking to the Most High within the confines of their places. My people, when Jeremiah tell them to keep the Sabbath as the Most High instructed their father, this is what he was speaking about. This is what he was speaking about. My people, you can't be so naive and so ignorant as to pretend that the Caucasians didn't take monopoly of the word of the Most High. You can't be so naive and pretend to be ignorant that the Most High in Malachi chapter 1 verse 2 to 4 say that he will hate the Edomites and he will hate the Edomites forever. You can't be so naive and pretend to be ignorant into pretending that you don't know that Edomites of Bible time is the Caucasians of today's world, because I brought the evidence to show you that they are one and the same. You can't be so naive and pretend to be ignorant to know that who the Most High hate will never have your interests at heart. You can't be so naive and pretend to be ignorant that Constantine did not order the canonization of the Bible, of the scriptures, to create the Bible. Why? Because he wanted the Caucasus community to get the impression that they are a part of the Holy Scriptures. But the Most High, the author of the Holy Scriptures, says that he will hate the Edomites, he will hate them forever. He will hate the Caucasians, and he will hate them forever. Not me saying this. This is the Most High word that is expounding this. My people, you can't be so naive to think that the people who have enslaved your forefathers for 2,357 years and is still oppressing and exploiting us today will love you so much that they will teach you what you need to know. You can't be so naive, my people. Yahweh, the Son of the Most High, aka Jesus Christ, said in John chapter 8:44, they are of their father the devil, and the lust of their father they will do. He was a murderer from the beginning, and the truth is not in him. When he speaks a lie, Remember, these things are put in the scriptures to deceive you because they are liars. How can you be so naive to trust the things that the liars say? My people, you have to examine the scriptures. The Most High has put His words upon our hearts. So because He don't want us to sin against Him, when we see a lie, if we are faithful to the Most High, we will be able to identify those lies. My people, the scriptures is full of a lot of lies. You hear the Son of the Most High, Yahweh, aka Jesus Christ, said to the Caucasians, the Jews, when He spoke in John chapter 8, verse 44, He says, "You are of your father, the devil." We show you how the devil used Esau by planting him into Rebekah's womb. How can you put so much trust and confidence in a document that the devil created to deceive you into going to hell with them? My people, they had no reason for taking the scriptures back to Rome in AD 70. No reason whatsoever. But they took it back because it was their intention to corrupt the scriptures. Not because their father told them to, although he did tell them to, but because the Most High prophecy in Amos chapter 8 says, there'll come a time, there'll be a famine in the land. Not a famine for food and for water, but a famine for the word of God. This had to come to pass. It was forecast by the Most High prophet Amos. That is why there's so much confusion where the word of the Most High is concerned, because there was a famine in the land, a famine for the genuine words of the Most High. My people, don't forget who created the denomination that is teaching you how to serve the Most High. It is the Edomites, the Caucasians. They never had your best interest at heart. My people, the African Americans, after emancipation, they told them, we're going to give you 10 acres of land and a mule so you will be able to prosper. Did they give them it? No, because they lied. It is not in their interest to see an Israelite man or woman prosper unless he is a reprobate. How can you be so naive, and how can you pretend to be ignorant that your enemies will ever look out for your best interests? Look at what is happening to Africa. They are raping the continent of Africa, and they have the African people living in poverty and experiencing starvation, while they take the resources of Africa and live lavish lives. My people, this is the history of the Caucasians. What they're doing in Africa today is what they did to the American native people yesterday. They stole their food and they leave them to starve while they have a big celebration and they call it Thanksgiving. They steal the African resources and they live big lives with it while they leave the African in poverty to starve. My people, you cannot be so naive and pretend to be that ignorant that you ignore the signs that is before you. The reality is there. The Caucasians is the founder of every Christian denomination there is. The same Christian denomination that you follow, they are the founder. They are the one who publishes the Bible. They determine what goes into the Bible, what comes out, and when it goes in and when it comes out. They determines the doctrines of all of the religions. These are your enemies. You are listening to the counsel of your enemies. Your enemies will counsel you into becoming slaves and conquered foe. cannot trust your enemies. It's simple. The Most High said in Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 68, he identified your enemies. And if you have to be ignorant, then you must pay the price of the ignorant. If you intentionally decide to be naive, then you must pay the price of the naive. Enslavement. My people, I don't know what to say. Do you really believe that Yahweh, the Son of the Most High, will break the Most High command and the Sabbath? My people, remember, we only know what the Caucasians tell us. The Caucasians told the African Americans they are going to give them 10 acres and a mule. For almost 200 years, the 10 acres have not come. The mule have died. My people, they tell the American Indians they are their friend. They tell the Caribs, the Garifuna, they are their friend, and they betrayed their friendship. My people, a lot of our foreparents walk onto the slave ship voluntarily because they were told by their enslavers that they're going to take them to a land of prosperity. And they trusted them, and they freely walked onto the slave ship. Then they were bound and put in the belly of the slave, in the slave ship. My people, you cannot pretend to be so naive. You cannot pretend to be so ignorant that you refuse to honor the Most High. You would end up in hell. You're going to end up in hell if you refuse to honor the Most High. And what? You chose to trust the enemies of the Most High. The people the Most High say he hates. What kind of people we are turning out to be? My people, I should not even done this message, but I gone too far to turn back now. In Jeremiah chapter 17, this is what the Jeremiah say. If you keep the Sabbath, right, he's going to give you back kings and princes that sits upon the throne of David. David was a king that the Most I say was a man after my own heart. Isaiah 58, 13 and 14 says that if you keep the Sabbath, you don't break it, don't do your own business, talk your own words, that he is going to cause the Israelites to ride upon the high places of the earth. My people, this is not for everyone. This is for the Israelites. This is for the Israelites. Deuteronomy chapter 28 says, if you diligently, chapter 28 verse 1 says, if you diligently listen to what I say and diligently do what I say, the Most High promise that everything we touch will be blessed. We will be the head and not the tail. They would like to see us the tail because it is only when we are the tail they remain the head. Deuteronomy chapter 30 says, the curses that we are now experiencing is for our enemies. Those who hate us and persecute us, who are our enemies. Go and read Deuteronomy chapter 28 verse 16 and see who are our enemies. See who are supposed to be caused. My people, the Caucasians benefits from your disobedience, from your ignorance, and from your pretense, naive. They benefit because when you find excuse not to keep the Most High law, you and your generation will remain enslaved forever. Not me and my generation, because I have one objective, is to take me, my children out of slavery and to ensure my father, my mother, my siblings, and everyone who is close to me, my friends, make it into the kingdom of the Most High. Nothing else. My people, if you want to believe that the Son of the Most High, who says that I come to do the will of my Father who sent me, who returned to heaven to meet his Father. Break the Sabbath command as it was outlined by the prophets. Then you have a rude awakening coming. O great supremacy of the Most High, I thank you, Yahweh, for this opportunity to speak to your people once again about your Sabbath. Father, this will be the last time I'm going over this on this life, because my series of life is coming to an end. Father Yahweh, I praise your holy name, that your Holy Spirit go with my words, that your Holy Spirit lend clarity where I would have lent confusion. In Yahweh's name I say, let it be done. My people. My people, my people, my people. What more can I say? I can't say anything, you know? You just do what you want to do. The Most High entrusted you with this life for you to live it as you please. But He really wants you to live it faithful to Him, so you can receive the blessings He has in store for you, so you can inherit eternal life and spend 1,000 years with Him in His heavenly kingdom and return to this earth under the leadership, under the protection and the defense and the sovereignty of our only begotten, of His only begotten Son, our Redeemer, Yahweh. My people, obedience is all we, Most High ain't ask us for anything but obedience. If we are obedient, He will give us everything we need, everything we want, everything we desire. That's all He's asking us for, obedience to Him. But some of us are rebellious by nature and refuse to honor the Most High. Remember what happened when the Most High closed the door of the ark and the rain started falling. The people of the antediluvian world immediately got an awakening. But it was too late, because the door of the ark was closed by the Most High's own hands. When the Most High closed a door, there is no man who can open it. Talk to you tomorrow. Have a good day.